sellout, a coconut, not a real one. All these things that he was called really affected him because I think he was chasing the title for the longest time. He finally captures the title. If your first words are, I am you lot, like I'm not a sellout. Yo, I am you.
I can do it like money made, glamorous ting. 12 round unanimous ting. Casual fans on the analyst ting. That ain't KG and Travis's ting. That's undefeated, undisputed like Lennox. Do it on points, jab your head off. Who tried to say that AJ fell off? Must have never had Nigerian.
Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Undefeated podcast.
The only podcast with two undefeated fighters.
Chatting it up. Listen, we're not moving forward without telling you, man, like, subscribe, share with your brethren and your family and your sisters and your cousins. Yeah?
We're not going anywhere, bruv. We are not turning left. We're not turning right. We are not going anywhere. Are you listening? I don't want it. Until you subscribe, do the thing that you're meant to do, okay? How is it?
Bro, give us your tail of the tape, fam.
Are you sure you're ready for that, cuz?
Born ready, bro.
Listen, I'm 0-0, fam. But if I did, someone's getting knocked out. And it's not me. Big man.
Crazy.
I woke up this morning and I thought, raw, I should ask Travis, what is this tail of the tape? Travis, what's your tail of the tape, bro?
Brother, what can I say?
Talk to me.
You see, they say there's nothing perfect in this world.
Oh, so
except my boxing record. You know, 2-0. Yeah, I boast a 50% knockout rate.
Oh, come on.
That means half the men that enter the ring with me, they left on their backs, bro.
No, we ain't done this in a long time, Travis. We ain't done this in a long time, but I want you to shout out someone. Shout out our community. Usually we shout out like the bus drivers or shout out something random, fam. Who are you shouting out this week, fam?
Shout out to the Fury fans that keep saying the same thing to me in the comments.
Raw.
Week after week after week after week, I see these comments and it's the same bars. And to you all, I say this. Thanks for watching.
My thing, though, with the Fury fans is, why are you so quiet? Why are you hiding, fam? Make yourself known. We have a whole interactive show for you to get them thoughts off.
Every time someone gets at me and it's like, it's on the verge of disrespect, I say the same thing. We have a show on Mondays at 8 o'clock. I invite you personally to phone me and speak. And they never do.
Oh my
so
days.
Now I look at the comments, I think to myself, nah, you're not a keyboard. We don't do keyboard warriors here. We'll address the comments, but we like the guys that like to phone in and have their energy on the line. And the thing is, yeah, man, don't have me down as a passionate Fury hater. I am not. I am absolutely not. I just believe what I believe, and I'm happy to debate with anyone. So shouts out to the Fury fan base.
Do you know who I want to shout out?
Go on.
I want to shout out anyone that puts a black bag in their bin. Anyone that does that, because there's white bags, there's green bags, fam. You didn't even know that. There's even the orange ones, fam. Anyone?
What are you talking about? The outside bin?
No, the indoor bin in the house, fam.
Oh, a black bag in the bin.
Black bag, yeah. Anyone
No. Hold on. The kitchen bin, though. The kitchen bin.
Yeah.
A black bag can go in there, bro.
This is what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, anyone that does that.
Oh, you're shouting them out?
I'm shouting them out, fam.
If your plastic bags are under your sink, yeah. Big up to you, bro.
No, once again, for our silent listeners, I respect you. It's not easy to be silent. It's not easy to move in silent. Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do to make you feel involved, yeah? I've got some instructions for the silent community today. If you're driving right now, if you're on the motorway, pull over on the hard shoulder and do some push-ups. Just 20, just a light 20, and then keep it moving.
No, you can't.
Useless. Absolutely useless.
We're not doing that.
Just give us 20. Just give us 20. No. That way we know you're serious. Film it, record it.
You have to be a responsible pod, fam. My spirit would never be the same if I get man crushed.
Right, cool.
You got to say one squat.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't. Not on the hard shoulder. Pull off at the services. So light services.
I like, yeah. There you go.
Go McDonald's, pick up your Red Bull, for more energy.
And a strong 20.
Quick 20. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, bro. Let's read some of the comments that we had from
Oh snap! Let me get those.
The last one still. We're not gonna do too many, bro. Like you do 4, I do 4. Now we're gonna like keep it moving. That's respect.
All right, cool. I do. You know what I gotta say, man. We when I look at the comments now and I compare it to like when we first started out, bro. Like sometimes I just be like,
if Soulstar went jabbing in the comment section like how he was.
Soulstar was throwing haymakers, hooks, uppercuts. He was getting busy back. It's nice to see, man.
We needed him, bro.
Oh hell yeah, bro. Yeah. All right, let's look at this now. Good work, guys. Great pod. I've been silently listening for over a year, but I've decided to make myself heard now. One of the best lines for me was when Trevor, in quotes, came up with cultural ombudsman in one of the episodes. I don't even remember saying that. He goes, you guys are a great team. KG's the loose cannon, and Travis is the cool head that keeps him in check. Keep up the good work, guys.
Base the kid said this was needed for the culture. I can actually see him like with the glasses on saying that.
Oh yeah, sure, mad love.
And all that you're doing. What's crazy is Base didn't call in on Monday Night Smoke today. He was in the free seat.
He was in the comments getting busy, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was like, no beast. Even not even off the camp, bro. It was mad still.
Off the canvas, bro. Them man, bro.
Man said let them do their thing still.
You know what it was? Load management.
Oh yeah.
They gave us the Kawhi Leonard, fam. They said, you know what? I'm gonna take a seat and just let the other guys play today. They showed up in the suit and sat courtside. I respect it. So Don Tony Esquire, he's another guy I like to debate with in the comments actually. The blueprint is there to beat Kelly now. Stick the pressure on him and he won't have the power to keep you off. Tough road ahead for him. 100% agree, bro.
This is it. Here you go. Off the canvas. Big up team and the guys at the back for all the content over the last 2 years. Just to touch on Spider, I feel Eddie Hearn is comfortable in risking Craig against Bivol because he seems low risk revenue generated as a very high reward. He's treating him like a William Hill budget. Oh my god.
Wow, that's crazy.
We got to talk about that though. I can't really have a good now like in front of everyone conversation with Craig because I have them obviously behind the scenes, but I want to really have a conversation on here. Go on.
Soulstar goes, oh no, Northbank Brain goes, Travis is correct. Caldwell used to be part of the Booth Gym. Pretty sure he was the bucket man for a few fights. He goes, a great point about Hay having back reconstruction. Burnett was forced to retire with a back issue too. That's interesting as 2 of Booth's fighters having back issues. Because remember when Bren phoned in and he was just like, what they're doing in the camps is not, a lot of his fighters get injured basically. So if 2 fighters have a mad back issue, something's a bit interesting there. It might be overworking them, exerting in the wrong way.
You know, I really want to do, because there's an interview that we did that I'm really proud of. And I think if we can just read some comments from the O'Hara one as well. And if
man,
if you haven't watched our O'Hara ep, I would say
man.
Like pause this and come back, go and watch that, because I think that's the realest O'Hara Davis you're ever gonna see.
Yeah, and I think it's one of my favorite interviews that we've done, man, because like what I like most about it is that it touched the world outside boxing. Yeah, and you know, today we have a lot of crime and stuff like that with, you know, the youth going different ways in life, and here you have a story of somebody who was on one extreme to the other. And what I thought was amazing, like the part that kind of, you know, I even told my mom about it. I was talking to her about it and I was just like, when he spoke about how he felt the improvements in his fitness results on the bleep test, and that feeling of achieving and progressing kept him coming back. And you know, we got into a good conversation about the youth today, and there's a lot of people out here that haven't experienced that feeling that makes them commit to progress. And you know, you have a guy from Hackney, you know, who could have gone anywhere in life. He was clearly on the wrong path and he turned it all the way around, and now he's having arguments with Floyd Mayweather. So it was one of those things where I'm glad we approached it in a way of like not judgment. In terms of hearing the wrong he's done in the beginning, we talked about the trial, and allowing the story to progress. Because a lot of times, you know, in society, we have situations where people make mistakes when they're young.
Yeah.
And we condemn. We don't really want to see that progress and the other side.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, you know, they on the roads have beef with man that in 10 years' time they'll walk past and be like nodding each other and might even giggle because it's like back in the day we were both dickheads.
Yeah.
How bad we wanted this beef.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the other side, the progressive part that I like that shown through in that episode. So I enjoyed it.
Like, I just had a different level of respect that I gained for O'Hara Davis. And one thing for sure that I came away from that pod knowing is he's quite principled in his manner. You know, the fact that he was willing to work with Eddie, but he wasn't willing to go back to his coaches because he felt they should know better. Like, I'm expecting Eddie to do Eddie things, but I'm expecting my
man to rock with me.
To rock with me, you know. And what I got the feeling that, again, in that situation where it was kind of hung out to dry, I look at that and I say to myself, you know what? Hearing him speak, you quickly understand he didn't really understand, but he was so caught up in his world.
That's right.
He didn't understand what was going on outside, and you can understand it.
That's right.
You can, when you hear his story, you fully understand that very quickly.
100%. Because like when we were speaking, I asked him like, would you have done anything differently given everything you know now? Because you know, you look at the way the game works with PR, it's all smoke and mirrors in this industry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I could talk some stuff, but it's not really necessary to do. But when he spoke about how Eddie was saying, look, you know, I believe you, but I've got to do that kind of stuff there. He's managing a bigger situation here and playing chess. Now, you could look at that and be like, oh, he's being fake. Or you could say he's working in the how can I say, he's dealing with the cards he's been dealt in this industry.
Yes.
This is how you would navigate through it. So, you know, a different mind would see that and be like, oh, Eddie, I see what you're doing. It's fine. Cool. I'll be back in the mix in a minute. But O'Hara was just like, nah, that goes against what I believe. You shouldn't do that to me anyway. You should stand by me.
Yeah. And
I just thought, you know what? It was nice to have a conversation like that where someone's just like, I'm not changing who I am.
People, again, if you haven't watched it, go and check it out.
Go and check it out, man.
Go, bro. I'm ringing the bell. 1 second. This is Canelo versus Yildirim.
Yeah. Look, man. You know what? This fight, I didn't stay up for the fight. Like, my boy phoned me up. My boy Sean. He goes, "Yo, bro, what time's the Canelo ring walk?" I said about 4 a.m. He goes, "Okay, you staying up?" I said, "Nah." And to be honest, I'm telling you not to stay up either. I said it's gonna be an easy fight. I said, because my boy will shout me and be like,
"This is wild, you know."
Nah, I said to him, I said, bro, I ain't staying up for this fight. And if you got stuff to do tomorrow, don't stay up for this either. It's gonna be an easy fight. It's gonna batter him. He's like, I say nothing. That's that. Because this was not competitive in any capacity. Nothing about this fight made me go, whoa, but if he catches him, nothing. I couldn't find no narrative. And I was just like, Eubank Jr. sparked him out. Yeah. If Canelo lands, he's gonna go sleep.
Yeah.
He didn't even go sleep. He quit.
This is what, do you know that's how funny it was? I remember you mentioning Eubank getting his work done. And I said, Eubank, I said, bro, I went to bed before time. I said, listen, tonight I'm getting a strong 8 hours, fam.
Oh, bro.
You usually get those, fam. I said, listen, I'm not staying up for that. I'm getting woke up to what I expected.
No interest in that. I woke up, rolled my phone over. I was like, boom. I saw the thing. It said, oh, Canelo crushes Yildirim. I didn't watch the highlights until the evening, fam. That's how not interested I was. I was like, nah, I got other things I can do instead of this. Let me watch the Lakers highlights.
Oh, it's not looking good still, man.
Yeah, no, we're back on. We're back in the game.
Yeah,
won yesterday.
Yeah. The streak was crazy, but anyway, let's not cross pollinate.
Yeah.
So what do you call it? The question is though, because I don't want to spend too long on this. I actually want to talk about better things. Cool. How did Yildirim get that title shot?
Well, this is the thing, bro, because like he was inactive. He's coming off of 2 losses, and somehow you're the mandatory for Canelo. Like that shows me there's a flaw in the industry. The whole workings of this thing. This is like that feeling when you watch a comic, get anything, and you think to yourself, yeah. Interesting. Do you know what I mean? Because there's other killers out here that they get that look still. So when you're watching your dream, I say to yourself, like, this is just a stay busy fight. This is basically Canelo saying, I'm gonna be mad active here. So you're gonna be upset about this fight, but it's minor because in 2.5 months' time, back again. So that's why I say it's not too much of a big deal.
Yeah, because a lot of people are onto Canelo, but again, it is what it is. Yildirim, I don't want to say he won't come again, but he knows his level, and I don't think he should be ever around in a level like that because you will get hurt. But again, he probably came for the payday. Today, you're gonna see like how the payday is so important to a lot of fighters. But bro, let's just get into it immediately. Yeah,
just before we do, there's a couple things at the bottom here I just want to get into before we get into the main things. Triller, they won the bid to host Teofimo Lopez's next fight. Now, the reason why that's huge is because they outbid Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, man who are serious in the boxing thing. They're like, no, we're serious too. They did the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones thing. Now, I think the face of boxing is going to look very interesting going forward. Because
and what I like about that as well, just to jump in on that conversation, is I know Snoop and all these, they're changing it. They're bringing it into
exactly where I was going.
Future. They're bringing boxing into the future.
That's right.
And it like Triller's a young people's app. It's like what it was the competition for TikTok at one stage.
That's what I'm saying.
I believe.
So what's
go ahead.
No, I say everything you're just saying along those lines of the face is going to change. The traditionalist view of boxing is going to shift. And we're going to see guys of Teofimo Lopez, and we're going to see YouTubers on the lineup a bit more often. Yeah. Then we're going to be seeing, the Ryan Garcias, but we're going to see big fighters because at the end of the day, fighters are prize fighters. They go into the biggest buyer.
Follow the money.
There's no loyalty.
Everyone follows the money, and you can't speak on these data companies. You can't. It's all the game is data. There's a data. It's data wars happening, and once we have more money, once we have, again, with the data, you can do anything. And I don't know how much they're selling our data for, but it's worth something. So that's why a Triller can come in and say, Eddie Hearn, sit the zone.
No, back up. We want Teofimo Lopez.
We'll take that. And it's going to get, and the one thing about boxing is literally like they can do what they want. They go with they move with the money,
But what's interesting here is because we have the divide in our community of casual fans, hardcore fans. They don't speak on a normal basis, right? Like I see the Twitter. I'm in boxing Twitter. I'm a part of boxing Twitter. I know the journalists. I know guys that the people that I speak to on the timeline. These are guys who are in the game. They're backstage at the fights. I know them, but the followings of these people doesn't translate always to the casual fans who they're just tuning in for AJ. It doesn't translate. Then you have an app like this. One thing I liked about the Roy Jones and Tyson card was the production. You had variety of voices. It weren't just man in suits doing the same thing that everybody else does. Then man had a variety of voices. Snoop was cracking jokes. Sugar Ray Leonard is over there. Like you started to see a mix. And
even when it goes, oh Lord, oh no,
oh Lord, bro. But what they factored in was the entertainment and the excitement, the way everything looked, bro. If you compare that to a Frank Warren card, it's bad. So now what they're doing, if they're taking boxing seriously and they're putting on great lineups with all of that production, and people don't realize the importance of having a variety of voices calling the fight. Because I'm going to see a fight a certain way. People from a specific community are going to see a fight a certain way.
Yes.
People want those voices heard when they're watching entertainment. This is why nowadays people are criticizing commentary. They're saying, I watch it with the volume down. They're saying, I watch it with music on. Or I watch it with a YouTube channel that I watch. We do watch-alongs. Men are commenting on the thing saying this is better than X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Now, so when you have that narrative going on, you got to say to yourself, something has to change. So it's going to take a new platform, a new entity to create that change. And I'm looking at Triller and I'm thinking to myself, play on. Let's see how this goes.
Again, I love it. I champion anything that's different. I think it's great for us. You know, we already know what we know.
We know what side we're on.
We know what we're doing with this, but it's great for us because again, boxing must and it will change. You know, and what the great thing about that is, like, there's so many channels, there's so many different people, podcasts and stuff that we embrace here.
That's right.
You know, we like come because this game is going to explode and the casuals are coming. And don't be upset at the casuals. Welcome the casuals.
That's right.
Because that's where you can get more coin. You see what happened? You see when they when we had COVID with the COVID stuff, and then they were trying to give where the money goes. When a lot went to football, a lot went to the grassroots boxing. Didn't
got nothing.
Why? Because the casual
AJ had to donate money for this thing, like for a boost.
Exactly, because the casual eyes are not on it. So now that's not bad because again, we talk to like Natasha's and all these other people that are involved in boxing, and they say, "Look, man, we need more money. We need." Like, I'm talking to people that are working full time and they haven't got the sponsorships. Why? Because the eyes are not there. You bring the eyes, sponsors will spend that money. It's again, it's marketing, you know. And I love it. I love the fact if the boxing can go out to the casuals and more people talking about it, the same way you can get into a football conversation. Let's go.
Facts.
Yeah. But so Triller.
Yeah, man. It's very exciting. Very exciting times.
There you go. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. So Lennox Lewis has hinted at fighting Tyson.
Did I not say it?
You know what's mad, yeah? But Lennox has been talking smoky, bruv. He put up a post, yeah. You know what? Let me not even do it from memory. I'm gonna just give you the bars because Lennox has a way of communicating, which I just think
he's a specialist, Sam.
Yeah. He gets the bars off, and it's like it's one of the ones where because it's Lennox saying it, you go, I can't even contest it. He posted a picture of himself and he just says, "Yo, get over it. I beat your favorite boxer. This is boxing. All the excuses won't change that fact. My era required a certain type of grit and brawn. There were so many things in place to disrupt the path. For every excuse made, there is a victory. #mine."
What's nuts about that here is he moved to 2 eras at once. He said, understand. He said, listen, my era.
Yes.
So he's already said whatever era that you lot probably airing now.
Yep.
Don't even compare to my era. So
it's not the same.
Hold that straight bullet for this era, yeah. And then after he said, "Listen, your favorite."
But you got to remember the timing. The timing of this post, is roughly around when Bruno and Tyson's documentary dropped. And then he did an interview and said, "I'm open to the Tyson fight. If people want to see it." He goes, "I've got an 86-inch reach. I'm tall." Like he started naming off stuff. I was like, he wants to fight.
I told you, bro. When he saw Tyson doing the warm-up video and he saw Evander getting busy, you know he was in Jamaica somewhere. Just saying, training begins now. We didn't see him. He said, "Listen," he said, "Training begins now." Yeah, I'm not putting out any videos, but one day you're gonna wake up and look how long that fight was. One day you're gonna wake up to a post from me saying, "Yo, Tyson, well gone." Yeah. And what's mad is Tyson gonna give? Are we gonna hear back from Tyson the way when he was talking to Roy Jones? Or it's good, and it ain't gonna be no thingy closes. It's gonna be war. There's not gonna be
fact is, you know, I said this before, yeah, because obviously Tyson and Roy Jones got into that ring with a code. They said, I'm not gonna throw the death shot. I'm not gonna throw the killer bangs. I'm gonna touch, stop. You're gonna clinch it, and we're gonna just move around. Yeah, it's gonna be respectful. Because Roy had no business being in there with Mike Tyson.
Roy had no business.
Yeah, it weren't even like it weren't respectful. When the Tyson let hands go on and stopped, it's just like, all right, we know what's happening here. You know what Lewis is gonna be in there doing. Yeah, Lewis is gonna be doing the jab, but then you know that when you see that right and and the commentary is just go, "Oh, we gotta fight." No, Tyson's angry.
When he walks in the ring and we hear the tune that we're expecting, we know that he's not come to play around.
Soldier, dreadlock Rasta. Listen, when he comes, you know the face. It's the face as well,
bro. If you can play dreadlock Rasta with no dread, you know he means business because he's already angry already, fam. What?
Trust me.
No.
And it's the walk though. The solemn Lewis face when he walks out. It's gonna be smoke, bro.
Hey, do the face again. Do the face again.
What, the Lewis face?
You don't even say hello. No. I Lewis, we need to change. We need to change.
Lewis stays on smoke. I knew this was coming. And the thing is, yeah, we always said someone's gonna be the one to ruffle the apple cart, and it's not gonna be an exhibition fan. He's gonna be in there. He's gonna throw the bang that's gonna set it off. Tyson's probably gonna try and get it cracking, and Lewis might knock him out again, bro.
Nah, I'm telling you, that fight goes that fight. Lewis will ruin this. You know that division that they're trying to create for the golden oldies for their man.
He'll come back and just dominate it.
It'll become a serious division. It's like this is no longer like.
Remember what rematches? They want rematches in the post fight.
Like, yeah, you're gonna see fights that we weren't expecting, and I'm not gonna lie in this Legends League, because we still need to get an answer for throwing your title in the bin. And
Riddick Bow's done. Riddick Bow's done.
Riddick?
Nah, because you gotta remember, certain men didn't look after themselves, and if any time it's gonna play out, when you hit the Legend League, we're gonna see the truth.
I hear you, but
Lennox,
Riddick with all those pains. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna win or not. I'm saying Riddick with all those bad feelings, because once he saw that tweet, Riddick must have said, "You know what?
Let me tell you something about feelings. Yeah, they mean nothing in there. You get in the ring with your feelings. Good luck, bro.
All right, and I'm glad that you said that, because this is what I really want to talk about today. Yeah, and we got rid of all the other.
Oh yeah, we're good.
All right, cool. We watched 2 documentaries. Yeah,
amazing documentaries.
Really amazing documentaries. If you can, well, after this, make sure you go and watch them. Bruno versus Tyson. Was it called something rivalry, great rivalry, or something like that?
I think I just saw it as Bruno versus Tyson documentary.
Yeah, Bruno versus Tyson documentary. I think it's called Great Rivalry. The Great Rivalry. That's fine. And then Eubanks on Piers Morgan. Yeah. Now, I'm happy that we didn't do the Piers, the Eubank one straight away.
Yeah, we were going to do it the week before.
I was going to do it before, and I'm so happy we didn't, because these stories, there's so much alignment in these stories that they need to be discussed as one. When we go into this, because I was proper deep in this, I was proper saying to myself, okay, the funny thing is, you got Eubank and you got Frank Bruno. Both, when you talk about Jamaican parents, both came in on both Windrush era family. Now, where it gets nuts is, one of them embraced being British and living a certain lifestyle. One of them embraced it, and the other one was almost ruined by it. It was too much for him. So I will say that Eubank literally dressed in. He said, "You know what? I'm British. I rep what Britain is. Yeah. This is me." Yeah. And then one had a serious identity crisis. Because the funny thing is, Eubank did everything he did, and he wasn't as loved as Frank was. But then,
that's right.
But then Frank was loved, but then the love that he was looking for, he didn't get, and I think it crushed him. I think it really I don't want to say crushed him, but it played a big part in his identity. I'll call it a serious identity crisis.
Okay.
That's where and that's where I started with it, because I was looking at these. Go ahead, but I don't know.
It's a good comparison. I didn't actually think about it. Obviously, I watched the Eubank thing when it first happened, and I watched the Frank Bruno thing a couple of days ago. So it wasn't that close enough for me to think there was a comparison. But as you say that, I see it, because with Eubank Senior, he very much he adopted the UK, the British English vibe. Like, even his nickname that he gave himself was English. Yeah, you know what I mean, I think that's from his dad, because his dad loved everything that was English, and he just went with it. And then you have some Frank Bruno, who was the English. He was the darling.
Yeah.
But more so in a different way. Like I look at Frank Bruno, and I was talking this over with my dad. Like I said, like my dad was saying, like he grew up with, you know, in that crowd, that lad crowd. You know what I mean? A lot of his friends were, so he weren't really, you know, connected to the black culture like that. And it came out in how you saw him speak and all those kind of things. So you see that kind of thing, but I think the way he was perceived really affected him.
And you're right, but
it didn't affect Eubank.
It didn't affect him, but this is the issue with it was with Frank. You saw his mum, a proud black woman. You saw his brothers, and every time, basically, the issue was that you have to be very sharp and tailored in with your eyes to see that he's surrounded by some real black people. But what happened is the court of public opinion, him being called, sellout, a coconut, not a real one. All these things that he was called really affected him because I think he was chasing the title for the longest time.
Yeah.
The longest time. And then he finally captures the title, not to say, oh my God, I can't believe I've done this. If your first words are, I am you lot, like I'm not a sellout, I am you. And that's coming, that's not from anywhere, that's not just from nowhere, that's from his soul to say, listen, guys.
He's emotional.
You've seen me, you've read me wrong and it hurts. He sent, the fact that there was he tried to sue Lennox for saying what he said about him. You could tell it's affected him because, again, you start to grow up and he's Jamaican. He's a Jamaican man. When you hear his family talk,
you know what I mean?
Language.
You know what it is, yeah? It's the tricky one because when you are a celebrity and you're black from ethnic minorities, like, and this goes to a lot of other ethnic minorities as well, is the fact that you become a role model. Your position takes on more roles than just the athlete. You're not just a singer, you know, and it's not something that you're responsible for. It just happens because you represent success and access to another way of life. So you become a role model for people who also want to achieve that same success. So when your people in your community are going through things and they feel like you're slightly disconnected from that, it now becomes a thing of scrutiny where people look at you and go, you're not really acknowledging what we're going through. You're not speaking on things. And the reason why, especially with boxing, is very loud is because boxing and politics have tied in. Sports and politics they've always been close. As much as people like to say, oh, shut up and dribble, just play basketball, just play football, don't worry about politics, you don't know what you're talking about. It is always tied in. If you start to dig deep and you find the stories, it's not hard to find out.
Such a strong foundation was set with what Ali done in the game. By carrying,
bro, further than Ali, we're talking Jack Johnson.
I'm just saying.
We're talking Len Johnson. We're talking
100%. Even the one we did. That's
Len Johnson. That's what I'm saying. So you know, it's always tied in. So then here comes Frank Bruno, and he is just a nice guy. Like when Tyson spoke about him, he said he's not a fighter. You know, I don't look at him and feel like he's a fighter. He's just a nice man. That is what Frank is on. Like, but I disagree with the way he was treated because I would see those terms like Coon and Uncle Tom and all that kind of stuff. I would hold that for someone who is detrimental to the black community by the things that you are doing, as opposed to not the things that you're not doing.
Yeah, so let me jump in on that one because I think this is where we got it twisted. People, I've gone into an audition and then they say, can you do that like more black? Deliver that, but black. And then someone has a understanding of what they feel blackness is. Are you with me? So you'll say, this is the standard for blackness. If you're not in that, you're not black.
Yeah.
Or you're not black enough. And that's the issue where you feel the identity crisis is. He's grown up in a certain area. He's black, period. It don't matter how I talk, how I deliver. I'm black.
My blackness is not up for debate.
Not up for debate. Like it doesn't, because anytime if we're mute, if we're in a mute society,
yeah, you
see me black. You know what I mean? If I go to America and I still talk like this, yo, I'm still black. Like it doesn't change. And this is, I think, a mistake that's made, and a mistake that he built into is we looked at him and he sounds so different. But then you start to see that we have to look at the time.
At the time there was in 100%.
People had to play a certain game, you know. People, and he was a victim of the game that he played probably for far too long. In a sense, you know, when he speak to him and say
palatable blackness is what we're talking
there
about.
You go. So he said to himself, you know what? His same answer, you always hear it. I'm just trying to make a pan.
I'm just a duck and diver. I'm just a duck and diver.
Make it a pan. Like, yeah, I just want to pay the gas bill. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to still relate to the audience that have helped. Because right now his generation, we're talking Windrush. We're talking about people that built
Teddy Boys, National Front on the roads, bro. They were dealing with the different racism on the ground.
So now I've got a chameleon. I've got to fit in, and especially when he moved schools, because remember, he was in a lot of trouble. So this is someone that had said to himself, what is my survival technique? This is what I'm getting from it. But the most heartbreaking bit, and when I thought, BBC, you lot are pricks for that.
Oh, I know the part you're talking about. It's the Tyson bit, innit? So after the Tyson fight has happened, he's lost the fight now, and he's doing other things whilst he's away from boxing. They're giving the Sports Personality of the Year award to Mike Tyson, the international one. And Mike Tyson's there, and Frank is there, and he's like, "Oh, is there anything? Is there any?"
First of all, say he's there for no reason. You don't bring the man that lost and tell him to come down. He's there for no reason. Set that up, by the way.
Yeah,
go ahead,
bro. They're giving the award to Mike Tyson. They got Frank up by the podium by the man for nothing. It's not like he's there to present the award. He's just there, bro. So now the host is getting into his KG instigator bag, So he goes, boom. Is there anything you want to say to Tyson? Is there any works of a rematch? And you know Frank was about to get into his bag.
Oh no, before that, you jumped. What happens before that is he's there, Tyson's there, they say give him the award, which Bruno's looking at him. Bruno's visibly upset in this room. Then Tyson comes on and says, "Hey, I heard you singing now. Sing."
Oh, yeah. It's mad. So the tension is already, because you just told me to sing for you, and now you're violating the thing, bro? You're violating. So now you can see Frank's energy is on some, no, I'm still a fighter, And now I'm about to get my bars off. Then the guy says, is there anything you want to say to him? He goes, surely, you've been doing some different things now. You've been more in the pantomime game. And he started playing clips. And
you missing something now.
Go on, hit me.
This is where it gets nuts and where it gets sticky, because there was little bits that happened. So Tyson said all his stuff, like laughing at Bruno. Tyson now is off the call. Then he now asks him, is there anything you want to say? And remember, Bruno clearly says, I wanted to say something, but you shut off the call. He goes, but the man's like, but you kind of been busy.
Yeah.
And then the sketch that they show is...
They got man standing in drag, doing a pantomime, walking out as a lady.
As a total lady, and then it's a violation. That's what it was. It was like... if
Frank's face, bro. Frank's face looked like, whoa. Because even it's the way he just went, like, he looks like, that's how you're giving it up for me.
Bro, you see me? I have to, in that moment there.
Yeah, in those moments.
I'm
not letting those slide. I'm not letting those slide.
In that moment there, I'm airing out the room, but you can't. Because
the precedent that he has already set for them is I'm the gentle, harmless giant. I mean no harm. So you can violate me.
Yeah.
And I got to take
his eyes. Look in his eyes, And I looked at there and I said, black man in a predicament. Honestly, I looked at him and I said, I can see it. There's no way you can watch that and don't tell me his eyes tell a full story.
And
In that
he felt it. He felt it very real. And the maddest thing is, you know, it's a common experience where you're at a crossroad immediately. You might be at work, you might be at wherever, and someone does something that is very
egregious.
What? Yeah, like, and now you got to make the decision. Am I going to address this? Do I really? Am I going to commit to dealing with this? Am I going to look worse off by calling this out, or should I just let it go? And that was the moment that Frank's face told a story where it's like, flip me, man. That's how they think they can treat me.
And then so on top of that, that's why, and I believe that's where I believe the demon was created in him to say, I have to right that wrong, because the whole room that he believed
because I think he's fighting.
So 1 second, let me get this point off, and then you can tell me if you agree or not. In that room, yes, he was loved, but in this moment, he was being laughed at. Another man was being praised by an organization, a place. Remember, BBC is important, and they've said, you know what? Here you go. You get the sports personality thing. I don't know why I'm even here. I don't know why I'm here. You only brought me here really to embarrass me, because look at everyone else laughing. After this scene of him looking the way he did, they cut to the crowd and it was just laughter.
But it's deeper than that.
Carry on.
It's deeper than that, because you have to look at the precedent that he's set for himself. He's created the oh, thank you, Harry. He's created that precedent for himself. That's just Frank. He's just harmless Frank. He's a big hulking heavyweight boxer, but he's softened himself so much. I'm just friendly Frank. So you got him in the adverts. He's just laughing. Oh, Harry, you me. That's what he gave them. So you compare that to someone like Lennox Lewis, who weren't giving up unnecessary disarming energy. Like, I'm not telling you that I'm just Lennox. No, don't disrespect me ever. I'm Lennox Lewis. And that energy carried, which is why it was easier for the culture to embrace Frank than it was to embrace Lennox. Because the energy was very different, especially when they sat at a press conference and he called him a this and he called him a that. You know, they would have jumped on Lennox for saying those type of things because they like how Frank is behaving with us.
But look how, and I'm with you, but look who Frank decided to surround himself with. Nigel, what I'm trying to say is,
but it's different now, because you got to remember about the times back then. So it's not a case of surrounding yourself with, they'll just be your friends. The school you go to, whatever, you just have your friends. So it's not like it's a calculated thing. I don't look at Frank and see calculated nothing. I see genuine.
So what the point I was making with the Nigel Benn relationship. Nigel Benn is as real as it comes. Yeah, and he was there for his.
But Nigel Benn's a Cockney though.
He's a Cockney, but he
was in the army. So it's not about So the energy it's not about any of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, it comes down to what people decide from the perception that you're giving. Do you know what I mean? And Frank decided, right, I'm gonna give what they want from me, which is friendly, safe, harmless black guy.
Palatable, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why, in turn, the black community at that time looked at him and thought, we are in a very sticky situation culturally with the things that we're dealing with. A heavyweight champ can speak on some things and acknowledge these things, and it doesn't come from you. So then they decide you must be the other way, and that's why those things come. And it's
but it takes a different level of bravery. And what is hard for me is it takes a different level of bravery to be the one to speak up. Like, it's not everyone. And I respect, because sometimes I want people to speak. Sometimes, but then. No, I'm saying sometimes I'm just saying personally, sometimes I would like people to speak, but I know that speaking is not for everyone. Some people are not meant to be on the front line dealing with these things. And it doesn't change just because you don't speak in that moment, doesn't change your connection to, because you can still get under, like, treated in less than treatment. Do you know what I mean? You can still get that no matter what level you get to. You can still quickly be reminded that you're less than. You know what I mean? So
100%. That's why. Sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
No, I was gonna say, like, I don't want everyone to speak. Like, you know how I feel about. So I like when things are spoken directly. I'm not a sugarcoating individual. Do you know what I mean? If something is racist, I call it racist. If it's not, I say it's not. I dislike the fact the notion that because you are a black successful individual, that's put on you and that's it. Because the fact is, not everybody's built for speaking, like you just said. Yeah. Some people do more harm by speaking on things. Yeah. I think a mature way to deal with certain situations that are above your station, or not above your station to say that you're below, but more so to say, I'm not well versed to speak on these things. This rascal did an interview, and I think it was Good Morning Britain, and Piers must have asked him about Black Lives Matter. He said, "No, ask a Carla about those things because I'm here to promote my album. I don't want to just ask a Carla. He's better at that stuff, and that's fine.
Feel it,
because that doesn't mean that you don't feel those things or speak on those things or what. But he's better for it. Yeah. So what happened to Frank was that you come along at that time and you kind of just want to be a boxer. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like when people speak directly. I do. I like the Muhammad Ali's of this world. I like the people who are direct and they just call it what it is, and it is what it is. I'm not lying. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm giving you the truth. The LeBrons, other people that have followed that same cloth. But I don't look at Frank and feel like he deserved the treatment he got because he wasn't like that. We're not a monolith as a community.
Thank you very much.
You look at the world that Frank grew up in. Yeah. Like, when I speak to my dad all the time, like, about this stuff, and my dad grew up in a different time. Do you know what I mean? So the racism they were encountering, sometimes, you adapt to the world that you are in to navigate. You speak the slang, you speak this, and you kind of violate that to just make your journey comfortable. Bro, you shouldn't be demonized for that.
Well, my dad, and it's probably a mistake now. I'm Nigerian, and it's so crazy because my Nigerian identity was really pushed to me by my father. However, he made changes. My dad saw how hard it was for him here, and he said, "No, I'm not gonna give them Nigerian names. That's Kevin, that's Sandra." Do you know what I mean? Like, all my other siblings, they have Nigerian names now, but he remembered handing out a CV and
that feeling.
I'm not getting this job. And my dad tried to make changes in us to try and almost adapt
to make your journey in life comfortable.
My journey in life comfortable. But where it gets intriguing, I don't know, because I can't remember Bruno's dad really being in his life.
No, I didn't get that.
I didn't get that. So then you go on this journey and you say to yourself, where the difference with Eubank got his sense of self and a sense of Britishness from his father. Now, when I talk about my sense of self and identity, which happens for every man, you'll go on a journey, then you say, who am I? And luckily, yes, it's sketchy. Like, I look at my culture and I say, I see myself as a Nigerian man, even though I'm in Britain. That's just in what I was taught, but then a good part of my foundation comes in there, because there's one, as a black man is going to ask himself that question. Who am I?
100%.
My culture. It's happening. Unfortunately for Frank, he went on this journey, and because there's things that will live with you for a moment. And that there's traumatizing moments that will happen in sense of, I went out to America, I lost, I still came back, I still loved and adored, which is crazy. It's just Frank. And people are looking at me and forgetting you just become one thing. You've become just a soft thingy guy. When Frank was talking, he said, listen, Tyson's no animal. You lot keep talking about him like this.
That's right.
So he was... Go ahead.
See, this is the thing, This is where I part ways with you. Because Frank said those things. But I don't think he believed those things. And I say that because of the way the fight looked. Like, he was going to make the fight. Tyson was on a slip. They had the divorce going on. They had Robin Givens, all that kind of stuff. The drama was going on. He was making a real point. This is the time to beat him. This is the time to beat him. He's not training. I'm training. This is the time to beat him. Cool, I got it. Going into that fight, you look how the fight looked. Maybe a good couple rounds, and after that, it kind of just went away. I still feel like there was a lot of fear even though in those moments.
You're forgetting that when there was a very different Tyson to him trying to fight him 5 times to the Tyson where there was at Wembley.
Oh, that second fight was a madness.
I'm saying when they were gonna fight at Wembley, remember, it didn't happen because Tyson had the accident. When they did the press conference and they met up there, that Bruno sounded completely different to this when he starts to realize I'm going to capitalize on a different, because it took many years, you know what I mean? So I'm talking about the first Bruno that was going to fight 90,000 Wembley Stadium. That was a different, you could hear.
Yeah, that was different. But then
to what he became when he's like, I think this is my moment. What you're saying, the fear.
Yeah.
Before, you didn't have that before. That 90,000, if you go
But the thing is, again, we go back to when Tyson said, you know, I don't feel like he's a fighter. I feel like he's a nice man. And I feel like Frank Bruno is a nice man that happened to be born in a heavyweight's body. I don't see, he's never been a killer. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember watching that Oliver McCall fight with my dad when I was young. And my dad was absolutely in the 12th round just going, hang on, Frank, just hang on. Because you just need to survive. You've done enough. Because his tank was atrocious. And at any moment, he could get, you know what I mean? Not saying he was chinny, but if the Donny puts things together, he was
never chinny. He was
not chinny. No, not at all. But you can't rely on Frank Bruno.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's for a variety of reasons. But they know that Frank is not that guy, but because they love him, they wanted to see him get a belt. And when he did, it was amazing. And when I watched the whole thing back, I thought to myself, you should have just bloody retired, bro. That was it. West End, you'd have been loved. It'd have been it. It'd have been great.
Do you know what's so crazy about this? Yeah, we still haven't even spoken about Eubank yet.
No, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Eubank. That's
but
fine.
it's when he was going through the on the bus through Oxford Circus. And I was looking, thinking that should have been your way out of the game, man. But then when he's talking about fighting him again, no, he could have. But when he's talking about fighting him again, he's saying, I knew I wasn't ready for the second one. But, you know, I had a family and a house and all that kind of stuff and mouth to feed. That's what made that second fight happen, which is why the second fight looked like how it did.
Yeah.
He came out there knowing this is, I'm getting smoked.
And you know what's so painful about his situation? Every single time he met the best Tyson. So, like, he met the first time is like,
the first time that was his time to win. Even Lennox said it. If anyone can do it at this point, it's Frank Bruno.
No, but I'm saying that he met that Tyson still, there was still remnants of that Tyson was. Remember, there's a thing when we talk about these guys, they're fighting for something. They're fighting for something bigger than themselves. Tyson was going through a super madness. Yeah, so you come into the ring with that level of ferocity. You see the first round? See how crazy that was? Tyson was fighting somebody else. He was fighting his demons in that ring. Yeah, that is how I see it. Then after the second fight is, bro, we signed this contract in jail. All I've been in like 4 wars. So like I've not seen anything else. My only target is Bruno.
I think you're reading it wrong. Because when you're in jail, I don't care how much you think about something, you're not ready for a fight. You're not. Your body's not. You've been doing jail. You've been adapted to jail life.
Of course.
So unless you had special treatment, you had your trainers in there, the ring and all that kind of stuff. But you look at it, and it's just like you could argue at any, like Tyson was well out of his prime after jail. That was
with different. You. I'm saying that how I'm saying
it's not a better Tyson. At any point, at no point did Frank Bruno fight the best Tyson.
No, because I'm saying after when he comes out of jail, even you see that intimidation, and he's a new man. The Tyson that you once knew when you was at again,
I got to trump that point again.
I feel different.
He got knocked out by Buster Douglas before that. Now everybody who felt like he's beatable, now they know he is.
No, but I'm saying that remember, Tyson's had this aura of the bad man, the killer. The main. Now, that same person who you might have had some psychological fear from before has now been to jail for a long time. He's come out, and what did the family say? They said that his children, his daughters said, as that man walked out, they
knew.
What I felt, I said, they knew themselves.
When his daughter was speaking about what it was like when Tyson walked in, I thought of Simpsons, you know, when Homer fought Dredrick Tatum.
Yeah.
And it's just like punch bag stuff. Like that's because you looked at that fight and remember Frank Bruno's going through all that retina stuff with his eye. Shouldn't have really been fighting. He shouldn't have come back the time when he did come back because the eye issues were still there. Now he's got that fight and the thing was separated completely. Tyson mashed up his eye both times. Like, I understand why he feels that way about Tyson, but I don't think, this is going to sound harsh, but I don't think he could have beat him at any point. Because the tools that you need to beat Tyson, are not physical. Yeah? That intimidation.
Yeah.
You got to break that with your mental. Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis, both were the ones. Because when Evander Holyfield come into the ring singing gospel music, glory, higher, power to the people of the Lord. I still remember that moment, fam. I'm thinking to myself, he's really not scared of him. Because I wanted Tyson to win that night. That must have been about 11 or however old I was. And I remember looking and thinking, that's unsettled me now. Because Tyson walked in and did Badman. And the whole time he was doing that, Holyfield was just, glory. And I remember thinking, raw, this is crazy. And the first round showed that he was here on smoke. He took a shot, boom, realized I could take it, ducked down, and now we were in a fight. Bruno.
Wait. So I like where you're going with this, and I agree wholeheartedly. But you know when you say that there's not, you know when you talk about him being a nice guy, I don't see a nice guy in Bruno. You know,
I do.
Even when even in the you gotta watch when a man's doing his work, and you know when the hold and the back, that's not nice. There's nothing nice about how
you know it is. I just don't think he was the cleanest boxer. Not as in dirty. I just don't mean, you know, when someone's work is clean, it's like boom, boom, bow, He was never one of those guys.
It wasn't clean, but I'm saying that how you look at a man, because you can learn a lot about a man in the way they fight and what they'll put their body through, you know. And again, he's a fighter. He's a period. Like, it's just because sometimes he presents in a way that he almost, remember when I was talking about trying to disarm people. He played the character for too long. He was a victim of playing this character way past. And even what I think about, and not just to keep getting back to that pantomime bit, but is like, you see that moment when he sees the video and he sees himself, he said, I've made a mistake. Even because Tyson was the one that reminded him that he's made a mistake. I heard you're singing now. Yeah, that's what Tyson did, and he's like,
Tyson's like, you never.
And he's like, and he scratched his head.
But you know what came face to face in this for me?
Go on.
Is black masculinity and how it's got to be managed in the UK versus the USA.
Yes.
In the UK, they like when it's, look at AJ. Look at the AJ experiment. I saw a lot of similarities between AJ's journey and Frank Bruno's journey in this.
Yes.
You look at AJ when he was coming up, nice guy. You know, I got the jokes off.
Yeah.
I'm on doing stand-up. I got material on AJ. Like, the nice guy thing, it irked me. I remember thinking, I can't see how you talk like that. I can't see how this is just you 24/7. I know there's another layer to this. There has to be. Because I'm from the same generation as you, and I know the circles, I've bumped into you before. I know that cannot be this. It cannot be it. I was that's the feeling I had. And look at Frank. Frank was given the same vibes. I can only imagine in the era where man like Lennox Lewis and these men are walking around and thinking, because why is he doing that? I can imagine that being the vibe.
Yeah.
So, but you look at in America, the nice guy thing don't really fly like that. They like the absolute tightened level of masculinity. I'm calling him out. I'm knocking him out. I want to eat your children. I want to eat your heart. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's the version they like.
Then you have to get into that
marketable
thing. But then you have to get into, that's when we now get into colonialism though, and how different people were treated. So when you look at it, they're gonna look at there's a man that one second, there's a man them now in there's the field man and there's the man there in the house.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm not saying I'm just saying this
cool.
I'm making right now. That how certain times and why Americans have always found it hard to connect with some of our black fighters is because, you guys are just the housemen. In a sense of, you guys are so, you like how someone will just go.
I disagree. I disagree with that.
This is how I feel sometimes. I feel that it's almost they want someone to go against things, to talk from it, and that's because of the struggle of the being beaten and and everything that they've gone through.
Yeah, I'm making a different point. Sorry to cut you.
No, I'm saying I know you're making a different point, but the point I'm making in this moment is certain times you will look at a certain person and say, you're not one, you're not a real one. And even the Americans that came over, they were saying that. American came, Oliver McCall said it to him.
McCall said it, yeah.
More than there was a couple people that literally was almost accusing him of being that.
But but you've taken it to another place. The point I was making was the fact that both of whilst the behavior is different, it's the same thing that's causing it. Because they're saying, these are my expectations of you. This is what I want from you. Give me that, or it's wrong. So when you're doing Frank Bruno, they're saying, yeah, that's what I like. When you're doing Lennox Lewis, I don't care. Nah, not on it. Just whatever. Go to America, it's the flip. You come with a nice guy thing, and they're saying, I'm not really rolling with that. But when you start barking, yo, I'm going to knock him out. This is what I'm giving him. Now you're sitting on there doing the couch on Saturday Night TV. It both is the same rules, but the output is different.
Yes, and I don't disagree with that at all. When I'm talking about from a historical, what they've gone through is, and how they're gonna get to look at us. Because they're like, are you my brother? Certain times, when you over there, it's like, wait, are you me? Can I see you? And as soon as you start speaking, hell to the no. You know, it literally, and it's like, and that's the hard part. That's the connect part. And again, you knew it was serious, because I know I keep getting back to this thing, but someone winning a title finally after having so many attempts, and then your first word is not just and the new and this, that, and the other, and it's always been a dream of mine. It's to say, first of all, speak to your community, a community that you probably felt has been left, and so much has happened. Stephen Lawrence probably happened. Yeah, it did happen in your time. Yeah. And you've never spoken. You now say, hey guys, I'm you. Yeah.
100%.
It's
tough. But the matter, what I find interesting about it is that it's the same, like what you do to get attention in America is the opposite of what those fighters have to do to get attention in the UK. Yeah. So when they meet and they go eye to eye, they say, you're not being real. Frank's saying, no, but you know what I mean? And that AJ met that same thing when he sat down with Charlemagne. And he was doing up nice guy, and Charlemagne was poking fun and making jokes and all that kind of stuff in a way that our presenters couldn't sit there with Tyson and feel like they could make them jokes. They'd be sitting there thinking, yeah, you chill. Like,
he's good.
You might do a madness. Yeah. So it's the conditioning of the environments is what I found interesting when they changed. Now, I saw some similarities with AJ, and AJ was Frank Bruno.
Yes.
Until AJ decided to speak on Black Lives Matter.
And now, note that was written. A note that was written. It wasn't his. It just, you're on that, but a note that was written, he was reading someone else's message. However, because again, he could have just said his own message. However, feedback of because he made a decision not to have his own message and to read something. That was calculated. You know, I'm gonna read this from someone. So it's like you're saying it, but it's not you. Now,
no, I think it's a combination of a few things we've mentioned here today, where it's like I'm not necessarily the speaker like that, innit?
Yeah.
But you've written this, so I'll use my platform as Anthony Joshua to read it. Because anyone who wrote that could have read that and it'd have been like just another day. Nothing changed. AJ said, I'm going to put my heavyweight championships platform on this and read it out. So that's what happened there. So he's given it out, and the backlash has been insane.
Yeah.
Frank Bruno didn't want that backlash, which is why he didn't lean into those conversations. Yeah. And it's not what you did that made people feel that way. It's what you didn't do. And that's one of those marks where it's even worse, because it's like, I can't go back and change it. But at the same time, I still love who I am. I'm not.
I feel for it. A part of me feels for it because society is different. And as a society, we've come a long way. You know, there's things that there's a moment like that where look at key is when not Frank Warren, who was speaking, Eddie Hearn's dad.
Yeah. When
he says like to back in the day, I was in, you know, when there's that line when he's talking and he's in his old school tongue of how the shit went. I work for you, like I work for you now. Before you work for me. Do you know what I mean? The times have changed, things have changed. So you're not stuck. If AJ decides to make a move, AJ can make a move. He's not stuck to Sky or stuck to a situation. Before, it didn't go like that. The boxers didn't have power. Hence why with your retina, you're going in the ring and still trying to do a madness. Something is, your business has been wrong. You're not Sir Frank Bruno. Yes, if the decision was different in today's, he probably would speak differently. But at that time, because again,
I don't think so.
I think some people, what I do find hard is, I think we use we have to be cognizant of the times that we're in, and a lot has changed, and a lot again. It's hard because again, we did have people back in the day.
I don't think it's not the times have changed. He's just not that guy. That's it. It's not the times have changed, because people who were on this thing back then, you had Ali's, you had people who were doing. It's not a case of times being different. He is just not that guy that they wanted him to be with the platform that he had, and it's simple as that. He's a victim of that perception of like, you could if you wanted to, but you're not. So now we're disappointed. That's what he was a victim of.
But it's so funny because when I look at us two, it's mad because it's so hard because I say to myself, you're West Indian, and I would say, obviously, they call you Trevor X. Do you know what I mean? When you get into a Trevor X bag. And I've been coached to be a chameleon by my father early. My dad told me there's a difference. Now,
my dad said the same to me. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I've been coached to be able to go into certain rooms and do this because he made me very aware of my blackness and how I come. Remember, I'm a big guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
So there's things that I could throw my weight around like proper, and my past. There's a certain way I could carry myself, but I know I can't because again, from early it's been ingrained in me to almost work this system. You know what I'm saying? And whereas sometimes I look at you and I'm like, he doesn't care. There's times to say something and I'm like, rah. And like, I feel you because know already. Like my back goes up, but then it goes against like DNA almost. It's like
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So obviously, when you talk, you can sort of see it from this hard line, and I can see it from almost a different way because I'm like, I know what it's like to almost try and learn how to play the game. I know what that looks like. I can see, and I'm like, I know what you're going through right now. I know the battle that you're having with yourself it's consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I just look at, that's why when I think about these people,
that's real.
Look how many Nigerians changed their name. I'm not the only one. AJ is Femi.
Yeah.
It's not there. Yes, there's the tattoos there and he's proud, but I'm chameleon. This is taught from, but when you lot, your generation was very different. You lot came and are part of the fabric of this nation. Yeah, where we came way after. And our generation, our thing is different. And I know Frank Bruno was Windrush.
Yeah.
It's just,
but the teachings were from the time. You know what it is? It's not that I don't care, but what it is like, I do a lot of reading on these conversations, right? And it's like, it's not about being wild in these conversations and just everybody's this, everybody's racist, everybody's that. That's not what it is. This whole, you understand the history and how the journey of the events of the past have shaped why things are the way they are today. I can make sense of it in a way that goes back a little bit further. So even when my stand-up, I talk about these things. Like I talked about, Black Lives Matter and all these type of things on stage. I document these things because I look at it like that's one of my strengths, where I can translate a real serious thing into stand-up. That's just where I feel like at home. And especially nowadays, we're having a lot of conversations on race and this type of stuff. I don't shy away from those convos because it's not beneficial for me to safeguard how anybody might feel about when I'm saying the truth. Or what I've researched to be the truth, or what I believe to be the truth. And that's the only way things are going to move forward, is when people have real conversations. And then like with that Black Lives Matter season that happened last year, I saw a lot of people from different backgrounds, white backgrounds, different, other ethnicities, saying things that I've never seen anybody say, coming out saying, wow, I was always raised to feel like this about black people. And it's mad. I'm only now coming face to face with it as it's now plain as day. And that came off the back of real conversations, people saying real things. So we start to look at one of the things I spoke about in a video that I put out on Instagram was feeling like at times you have to prove on site that you're not a threat.
Yeah.
So in a cold weather situation in the rain, I might hesitate to put my hood up.
Yeah.
Because now I'm walking behind you. I'm now aware that you might look back and see a 6'2" dude with a hood on, black guy, and feel like your life is in danger. So let me just squash that awkwardness and cross the road. These pressures, these microaggressions that you deal with, they're small things.
I'm telling you, we all, and that's the part that I always can see. And like as you said, if I'm Bruno, or I know what I look, the killers, I know what I look like. I know as soon as I don't smile, people don't know what to do. You know how you felt when you met me, and the killer is I lived a certain lifestyle that is different, but I am so aware of how I can come across that I will laugh and smile with you very quickly to make you feel calm and comfortable. You know what I mean? I know that it might take that.
But this is the thing, right? Because perceptions, you don't realize how we internalize our own stereotypes.
Yes.
Like I would look at, and this is crazy, right? You'd look at, growing up, you'd look at a group of, guys from any other background, and there might be 4 of them, and you're by yourself, and you might just feel like, minor. But let there be 2 black guys, your own race, and you'd be thinking,
you prepare.
Because you've been taught to believe that you're dangerous.
Yeah.
So anything that looks like you is also dangerous.
Yeah.
When the truth is, my experience with all these years of boxing, I don't judge no one on perception, fam. I see a man, 5'6", gray hair, mash up this bodybuilder, touched him up, made him bend down on one knee because of the body shot. No, boxing has allowed me to be like, kill that nonsense. But the perceptions that you raised with, so when you grow up with all of these things in your head, sometimes the safest thing for you to do is just blend in. Hence, we have Frank Bruno giving us the safe version of him. So it's not fair to just watch the surface end result and not go deep into the root of this thing and understand why things are the way they are. And then you have personality types who don't play along, but then they get demonized as a result. Lennox Lewis was not loved publicly in this country like that for many other reasons other than this. He's Canadian, isn't he? No, that weren't it. This thing is deeper than that. You looked at Lennox and saw someone who was just like, I ain't bending over to your thing. I'm a great boxer. Take me as that. If you give me credit for that, I'm not going to sing your song. I'm not going to play this thing. I'm not going to do the... No, let's go. Because he tried it. He tried it. I think in the doc, he tried to do the British flag thing and but the dreads, that man saw the dreads. I was like, something doesn't sit with this. So he's like, you know what? To hell with it then. I'm just gonna do my thing.
You know what?
That's the deep root that we're dealing with.
You know what's so nice? Because obviously you said the deep dive in it. And we went deep. We went
other places.
We went
But a good juxtaposition of all this conversation on Frank, and I've got to say, it was a great doc, and I felt like I got to know Frank a bit more.
I'd love to talk to him.
I would love a convo with Frank because I got the feeling that he wanted. When someone wants to speak on something, I got that feeling from him. Like these are things he wants, especially that bit. It was so poignant. You just won the heavyweight championship. You keep mentioning it, and it's so powerful. He's like, I love my people, man. Like I'm not Uncle Tom. That's not who I am. And it's like, I felt that because sometimes we can be so irresponsible with these terms that we throw and not realizing how deep these things, when he said, those are serious things you're saying there. So it's like, you rush to the lawyer because I don't have a comeback for that. Yeah. So, there's a,
you know what's so funny, is he wanted some closure when he went to see Tyson. And Tyson was not in that place. Because Tyson's saying my struggle
was crazy.
is more crazy. You've been to one mental home.
I've been to like 10.
Yes,
but sorry, you know what I think is interesting about Mike? He talks but don't listen.
Not at all.
He talks and it's like you say something, he just you know the crazy thing, and it's like it's just water off a duck's back. And I think Frank had a bit of I want to get this stuff off my chest type vibe. Yeah.
And he wasn't giving him, he was like, oh, let's talk. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, no. Do you know what I'm saying?
Great seeing you, Frank.
Great
seeing you, Frank.
Like, it was hard because again they couldn't relate. They related as fighters and know like the warrior code,
but not as men.
When it came as men, they couldn't, because like we're just too different. But let's move on to let's
move on to Eubank. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. Not on many levels. I enjoyed the content that came out in the interview, but I also enjoyed the game of chess that he was playing with Piers.
Yes.
There was one moment that stuck out to me, and I'm obviously jumping ahead when we can go back, but
cannabis.
It's when not the cannabis.
Oh.
It's when he's speaking about his upbringing and the beating that his parents used to give him.
Yes.
And then Piers tries to just brush along, and he goes, "Wait, did you mean to cut me off just now?" No. He goes, "No, because what I said was it wasn't violence, it was discipline." He goes, "I'm not going to speak about now and things that happen now, but that's what that was." And I thought to myself, that's very powerful,
Yeah.
Because that's how narratives get shaped. And he stopped that right before that thing got any momentum. He said, no, hold on a second.
Yes.
You're going to take it as I gave it to you. You're not going to do what you want with it.
Yeah. No, listen, Eubanks came in there to box. Literally, it was a boxing match, and Piers knew he was in a boxing match. The part that I thought I enjoyed was when he wanted to draw him out on the drugs. It took
the cannabis.
What's your thoughts? You tell me for the negative. And then Piers went to speak and Duncan stuff. He goes, okay, pure. What do you think? And it was nuts. Because now it was like it was uncomfortable. And I like the fact that Eubank is a great fighter that he is. He was able to sit in that uncomfortability.
Yeah.
That's right. It's too uncomfortable. I don't like it.
He's like, I don't mind how awkward this is. We can let this sing. I was like, this is good.
But then there was a part that I almost cried in. There was a part that and it's we all know the part. I want to say the death of the vicious Eubank is there. You see it, and it even to the point that it's very different when you hear Nigel talk about his situation and talk about his situation, similar, completely different,
very different
in how they feel about it today.
Yeah.
He's still apologizing, and they're friends. He's still apologizing.
Yeah, it was touching to see Michael Watson ringside in the audience for that. Yes. And he just said, I can't say how sorry I am. And he broke down, and man, I felt that in my chest, bro. I felt that deep. I was like, oh, look at this. And you could see how deep it affected it. It affected his career because the killer instinct was gone. He just did not put the foot down again after that. And
you can't fight and be sorry.
You can't fight with that energy. No.
You can't fight and be that sorry. It's impossible. And that's what you see. You see a man that is to this day. You're in the and when you apologize profusely, they done a marathon together, bro.
I know.
He knows you're sorry, but that thing is
it's affected him.
Affected me.
And that's why Michael was just saying to him, move on. We say apologies and we just move on with life. And it's heartbreaking because you hear how he's talking and it's just like, oh, this sport, man. It's something.
Yeah, it's a sport.
You know what I mean? It gives people opportunities that otherwise society would just turn their back on these people. And it gives them another chance and they can get there, but at the same time, they risk their life every single step of the way.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, what a cruel journey.
Yeah.
At the same time of the sport being beautiful.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
But then what I like about these fighters is they they've all gone through a madness. When you hear Frank Bruno's startings, you understand it. When you hear
Lennox.
when you hear when you hear these guys, you say, "Oh, you had to fight. Like this thing was bigger than you." Then it makes you again. I do gain respect for next gen. Like the as much as I talk about Chris Eubank, the fact that with everything he's had, because he doesn't have the same struggle, and probably why it doesn't take him over, why these players can't go to the next level, because you've been you've been quite comfortable. When Chris flies out to America and he's a janitor, he's sweeping up the
That's crazy, bro.
yeah, he's sweeping up to
Sweeping
win
the boxing gym to have lessons.
in the gym to have lessons. That's a different kind of energy. That kind of mentality is totally different. You know what I mean? That's someone that's like, at all costs, I'm gonna get this thing.
But you know what though? I don't know. I think Chris Eubank Jr. has proved that he does take this thing very seriously. I think the only thing that works against him in conversations like this is he just doesn't have punch power, like the crazy knockout power. Which doesn't take him over the edge.
I think there's more ingredient. I think there's and I don't get me wrong, because I do believe, because now the challenge is gonna be, I believe I have a hustle mentality. I believe I can go for work 5 jobs, whatever it takes to look after my wife and my daughter. Yeah. Now I'm trying to almost teach my daughter that. See, if I say it can't happen, then I failed already. So I'm now trying to develop her
position.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her.
You got to look at the other side of it, right? Because with how I approach my stand-up career, knowing the legacy of my mum that's gone before, I look at her career with so much respect that it makes me take my career super serious. On any day, phone me at 2 a.m. I'm up and I'm writing. This is normal for me. I don't because I know what expectation is on me and all this other little stuff that plays on. It doesn't feel like pressure because it's normal to me now, but I'm aware of it because of what's happened before. So I'm almost honoring history by taking this thing serious today. So there's that to factor, because Eubank Jr. can't ignore that. He can't ignore that. He knows his dad's thing. He's in the gym in Brighton. I don't know if it's the same gym, but this is where his dad got it cracking as well. I got the same name. We got the same face damn near. Different tone. But that is that as well. Look at Conor Ben. Look at the energy Conor Ben walks with.
Yeah.
That's that energy. So
it's
2 ways.
It's mad. It's 100%. I would say that the parts that I got from Chris Eubank though is he's a very interesting guy.
I love Chris.
I don't understand his final take, the dot thing. I ain't gonna lie.
Run that by me.
So
I missed that.
He used this. He said, "How do you want to be remembered, or what's the legacy?" And he started speaking about how it's a philosopher. I don't remember the name of the philosopher, but it's the sun. How the sun looks at Earth.
Yes.
Yeah? And I was like, I wish you gave me more. I wish you elaborated on what that means. Does it mean that it's pale into the sun? How it's looking at is insignificant, or I don't understand what you were saying in that bit. I
wish I saw that again. I missed.
I wish you sewed that like rounded it up for me. You know?
I almost want to pause the pod and watch it so I could just respond to it. But
someone in the free seats will.
Yeah. Someone will do that.
Come back and
what I like about Chris is that, you know, it's one of those things where it's like I didn't let my experience define how I live my life.
Yeah,
I came from those beginnings. I did steal. I did do those things, and there's energy that I like when it's just like I'm not going to apologize for those things because I believed in those things. I'm not going to apologize for things I did as a boy. I'm not a boy anymore. I'm a man now. That's an amazing line. And it ties into that thing we said about a horror at the beginning. Not exactly the same. So I'm not trying to justify everything that's happened. But when somebody progresses, the stories, when people sometimes talk about the bad parts of society, they never really get to the progression.
Yeah.
And what things should move on to. Yeah, that's okay, cool. But after the necessary work has taken place, this is where you should be moving up to. And I look at that and I think to myself, you could have stopped a snapshot of Chris Eubank stealing and said, look at this, scum of the earth. And here we are today. He's sitting there with Piers Morgan, and we're having a conversation about his brilliant career. Do you know what I mean? It's a very interesting message there.
Again, your legacy is how your children will speak about you, and his children spoke well.
You saw Eubank Jr.
That's what it comes down to. Eubank Jr. His daughter. You see what you've done in the game to get your son to a space where he's done well. His son is a success. As much as he ain't won certain things that you think, it'll be good if he has that.
He's still a
yes. What I was upset with is they left out a child. Is where I thought, oh man,
who?
He's got another.
Seb. He's got two other kids.
One, the other kid,
Nathaniel Wilson.
That's it. I thought you can't do my.
Did Seb didn't speak though?
Seb, no, but they mentioned. They said they called his. They said they mentioned Seb. They mentioned the sister,
the daughter. I think Emily. Yeah,
there's four kids in that house, right?
No, 3. No, that's right. There is. There's four. Yeah, and then
house, but there's a number 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like,
but they didn't all get to speak. But they didn't. Yeah, I know what you're saying. They didn't mention him.
They said 4. They mentioned
again.
It's you see my work with kids, so a part of my mind will always be a buzz.
Stand out to you, yeah.
That will stand out and say you've not acknowledged him or he exists. That he's real, and to pretend that he isn't, and he's a fighter.
I think he might be retired now.
But he tried.
But yeah.
At the end of the day, my story is still real. Do you know what I mean? I'm part of it.
Happened. I am, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's almost blotting like erasure. Do you know what I mean? I ain't standing for that. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I do hear you.
Yeah. That was the only disappointment. Knowing Piers, how he can be.
You'd have thought he would have picked up on that.
He would have picked up on that.
Unless it was specifically instructed not to.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to have your way with someone like Chris Eubank Sr.
Very true. But he said, let's spar. You know what I mean?
He said, let's talk. And it was interesting, like, especially when he spoke about his wife and the money situation. It's like that money theme comes up a lot with fighters. And, I think we take it for granted as fans when we, just fight him. Why are you always talking about money? We don't realize that this is a very focused amount of time these guys have to make money that pretty much should take them the rest of the way in life. Now, a lot of people will say, but you got millions, you'll be fine. It doesn't go like that. When you get to that place, people don't just make millions and still live in the same house. And it's not to say that, it should be accepted that they just flash their money. But someone who has millions is going to spend like someone who has millions.
Yeah.
And once money stops being made, now this person has to put discipline on their own self and say, okay, no more spending like a millionaire. And it's like, it's not that I want people to take sympathy in people who are rich and have those type of experiences, but it's the journey that we factor in. So when a fighter is stalling a fight for negotiations and we're saying, come on, man, stop being scared. And he's like, after I retire, I got 40 years of life to live.
You're not going to speak about me
on this same money.
Yeah.
And I looked at what Eubank was going through in terms of not being able to curb the spending whilst being a retired fighter, and the effect it had on his family life. And then now you're dealing with bankruptcy and you lost your wife. And, you look at a man who had his way for a majority of his life. And he spoke about the women and the other women and stuff like that. And you could tell it was uncomfortable. He said, were those rumors correct that you were having extramarital affairs? And he said, I always came home to my wife. That don't mean, that's not a yes or no. That just, at the end of the day, at the end of the 24 hours, I was in my bed. Do you know what I mean? And you basically saw a man who lost control of this thing. It's like, I was the man for so long. I'm now not. The reality show, the spectacles in public, the lorries, the trucks, the protests.
Funny about that though, Nigel had the similar, but he said, remember that advice that Nigel gave us, is going to live with me forever. Yeah, because he was like, I know how talented you two are and all this stuff, but I'm telling you right now, don't forget, my biggest regret is the way I treated my missus.
After everything.
After everything.
After everything.
I said, wait. And he wanted us to, that was...
He drilled that home. He drilled that point. Even even after the recording.
Yeah, he made sure that, listen, if you didn't hear in this, I'm going to tell you outside of this.
He said, you lot have both got my number. Should you ever need the extra, he was very adamant on that.
Very adamant. And it just, again, like you see the pitfalls of what's happened to you. Because again, even when he's talking about it, he still can't believe that she left him.
Yeah, she said, I wanted a divorce. He said, no, I don't know. And then he said, why do you think she left you? I don't know. You'd have to ask her. He's still feeling that feeling, especially when you know, the kids were just like, oh, he always says, I'm going to get your mom back. And they're just like, no, you ain't.
Not at
and
all.
that's, you see what I'm saying? And it's like, you see the impacts of it. And at the time, he must have felt like, I'm the man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You know what? Again,
very real. Very real.
Listen, people, check these out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like, I hope you just watch it and then give us your takes, your opinion. Boxing is amazing, man. The stories and these things, like,
and look at the conversation we're having, yeah? From boxers and boxing and the world of boxing, and how much in real life has come into the conversation.
Yeah.
This is why when people say sports and politics and sports and life, they're not separate. Yeah. They are very, very much aligned. And you know, these conversations are powerful. I really enjoyed this conversation, bro. I feel good. I feel good right now.
I feel like I've learned a lot about myself. Like,
yeah, bro.
Yeah, like a lot of reflection. But people, man, if you enjoyed this, share it, pass it out. Even if people are not even boxing fans, because I think it went past boxing. And yeah, man, thanks for rocking with us again. The donations, everything you lot are doing, we appreciate. This week we got the red corner as always. Yeah, we got the red corner. We got sugar. I'm forgetting
ringside on Sunday.
Yeah, ringside on Sunday, and then obviously you know the smoke on Mondays as usual. But yeah, till next time, look after yourself. Peace. Yo, people, thanks for watching the Undefeated podcast. Make sure you
like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and all that good stuff, man. This is the place to be.
I liked it still.
Yeah, same.
I liked it. Very nice, very clean.